Hello everyone and welcome back to HTML and CSS lessons on Codecademy. So last time we learned a few extra things that we can do with CSS, such as the asterisk in CSS, which applies something to every element there is, how to go into more specific things such as saying the paragraph that's within two divs, and what else was there? I don't actually remember. Just watch the video and you will see what we discovered. So a lot of new things which we didn't know before. So today we're going to be looking at something a bit different, I think. So let's get started then. You can think of an HTML document as a tree. Elements branch out from the main trunk, so the HTML tags. As you can see, between the HTML tags you have the branch of head, the branch of body, and between the body tags you have loads of divs which are branched out, and in the head you have a title as well as link. And branches multiply and become finer as you get to elements like divs, tables, and text, headers and paragraphs. So instructions: we've sketched a potential family tree out for you in the editor. Check the result tab, which we have and can see here. When you think you've wrapped your mind around the HTML tree, hit save and submit code. So yeah, I understand it. I don't really know what ID is, because they haven't explained what ID does, or class, but okay. We can just move on. I think that it's just an example of how things might look. So in the HTML you have the body and the head. In the head you have the title, and in the body you have the div, and the div contains the 3 paragraphs. So let's move on. Parents, children, and siblings. Okay, this is gonna be interesting, I think. So if you think of the HTML tag as the trunk of the tree, you can think of its immediate branches, head and body, as its children. So both tags are children of HTML, and HTML is their parent element. Because they are both immediate children of HTML, that is, they are both only one element away, they are siblings. So just like a real family, elements have children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so on. Though we don't make this distinction with HTML, a child of an element and all that child's children are children of the first parent. That is true. So instructions for those of you who think more visually, there is a little diagram in the index.html tab on the right. Okay. Remember, an element is a child of every element wrapped around it, even if that element is several branches away. So when you're ready, hit save and submit code to continue. And also you can see whether something is a sibling or not by looking at its indentation if you indent things. So that's why it's a good idea to indent things. For example, you have HTML is not indented, so you know that that's one thing. And there is nothing on the same level as it. Then you have body and head, which are right next to each other. Now you have head goes into title and body goes into P. Well, these two aren't siblings because they're not in the same thing. So title is in head and P is in body. So they would be, what, cousins, I guess, if you want to call it that. But yeah, they're not siblings. So, but they're at in the same level. So indentation is a good thing to do if you really want it to be organized. If you don't, then I guess you can have it not organized, but it's a really good idea to have it organized, and a really bad idea to not have it organized, seeing as if you come back to your code sometime later, you won't really know what's going on. So let's move on. Swinging from branch to branch. Alright, now that you have an idea of how HTML documents are structured, it's time to see how good you are at navigating from branch to branch. Okay, fair enough. We've added some links in the editor to the right. On the CSS tab, so in here, target only the A's that are children of LIs. So LI, A. We learned this how to do, I think, 2 lessons ago. So set their text decoration to none. Oops, I need a semicolon there. Set their font family to cursive, and that has no capital letter. Okay, and don't change the link that's not part of the unordered list. So it's talking about that's not part of the unordered list. And we have specified that we want the A that's in the LI, and that's why this actually works like that. So let's move on. Also, actually, if you don't have that LI, all of them are gonna change, so yeah, bear that in mind. Can you swing it? Okay, good work, let's try something a little more involved. Remember, you can reach an element that is a child of another element like this, as I did it just now. Where in this case, we'd be grabbing any paragraph that is nested somewhere inside a div that is nested somewhere inside another div. So if you want to grab direct children, that is an element that is directly nested inside another element with no elements in between, you can use the greater than symbol, like so. Div is greater than p, and then you have the CSS stuff. This only grabs p's that are nested directly inside of divs. It won't grab any paragraphs that are, say, nested inside lists that are turned nested inside divs. So if you have a if you have a paragraph that's nested inside a div, and you use this, then it won't change the paragraph stuff, the paragraph parameters. But if you have inside the body something that is nested, if you have a p that's nested inside the div that's nested inside the body, then it is going to work, from what I understand. So it won't grab any paragraphs that are, say, nested inside the lists that are in turn nested inside the divs. Yeah, that's what I understand. So let's actually see if that is how it works. So make all p tags have a font family of Garamond. Okay. There we go. Do not use the universal selector for this. There's a better way. See the hint for help. Yeah, I'm not using the universal selector. Make the introduction paragraph and the summary paragraph have a font weight of bold. This is a new property for you, but it works just like the others you've learned. So make the introduction paragraph. Okay, let's see. I'm guessing that that's the introduction paragraph, and that is just nested inside the body. So body greater than p is my guess here, and we want to change the font weight to bold, and maybe that's going to work. Oh, and the summary paragraph, so yes, I'm pretty sure that this is going to work. So make the synopsis paragraph have a color of that. Synopsis is inside a div, so I'm guessing it's going to be div greater than p, and then here we have color of whatever that is. Let's see if we can see the change. Yes, we can see the change. And make the paragraphs in the unordered list have the color and that, and text decoration of that. Paragraphs in the unordered list, so that's ul greater than p, color not going to be black. Oops, I forgot to put a semicolon there. And text decoration, or declaration as I said, underline. There we go. And that did not underline anything. Okay, do we just need to do that then? Maybe. That does work, but let's see why we don't need the greater than symbol there. So make the paragraphs in the unordered, oh, I'm guessing the unordered list is inside something else before. So unordered list, if you look at that there, it is inside the div tag. So if we put a greater than, then it's not going to find it. What happens if we don't put a body there? Does anything change? Yes, so we get bold in those as well. Okay, so that is good to know. Let's just check that I have the correct code. Yes, I do. So I don't think that this is that complicated, but just remember, if you want to have something within something but specifically and not in some other place, then use the greater than symbol. If you want it anywhere, then don't use any symbol, and if you want it everywhere, then just use the tag itself, if that makes any sense. If it doesn't, do feel free to ask in the comments down below and I will explain it a bit better. So let's move on. See it to believe it. Excellent, you've got the hang of this and you're starting to learn more about cascading. So as we mentioned, certain selectors will override others if they have a greater specificity value. So UL-LIP is more specific in CSS than just P. So when CSS sees tags that are both P tags and happen to be inside unordered lists, it will apply the more specific styling, so that, to the text inside the lists. There are two selectors that are even more specific than nested selectors like the ones above, classes and IDs. So we saw these at the start and now we're going to learn what they do then. Check them out in the editor to the right. In here or in here? I don't know. Okay, let's just see. See how the classes and IDs alter the way the paragraphs look. Note how LIP CSS overrides PCSS, so that overrides that. And the class .list item overrides the LIP CSS. So hit save and submit code to learn how to use these new selectors, which we're going to be doing in the next lesson. So let's actually just see where they are and how they slightly work. So that has a greater priority over that. So I'm guessing that greater than has the greatest priority. Then it's either that or that, and then you have that, and then of course you have that as the least priority or specificity. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions about what we covered this lesson, except for this because we're going to be talking about this in the next lesson, then do feel free to ask in the comments down below, as I have said before many times. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, press the dislike button and tell me in the comments why you didn't like it, so that I can improve for next time. But until that next time, thank you guys so much for watching.